welcome back to Floor Space. This episode, we are tackling the power assist system. As you can see, it's already in here. This took longer than I expected, almost a month and a half, just to get all the right parts in. So stick around and see how we put the entire column power assist in here. This episode we are focusing on getting the steering column in here because right now we just got support bars. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to keep those or if we're going to have to redo it. So we're going to put the power steering column in here, see how it fits between where our legs are and where it needs to go. I'm thinking it's going to clear right up here. It's not going to interfere with our knees because we're not that far forward. So let's go ahead. Put it in here, take a look, maybe zip tie it up, finagle something where it's holding it up, make sure that everything is gonna work out before we take and execute this. Let's get started.
And if you missed it in the previous episode, so this guy right here, I took a column shaft off. This is what's known as an EPAS system. So EPAS means electronically power assisted steering system. So EPAS has a little sensor on the input side, on this side, and then as you apply torque, it multiplies the torque with an electric motor. This system is out of a Saturn Vue, and there's a little controller box that'll plug into this, and it will manage how much assist when we can manipulate it, more assist or less assist, to get more road feel or less. So this is what we're trying to get in here. Right now, it's looking kind of finicky there. We'd have to reclock it. I'm gonna see if there's any other locations in here that this will better fit, where we can then take and use a shaft to manipulate it into place.
Moments later.
All right, after poking at this for a little bit, I took and I think we're gonna put it right up here. Oh. So this is the input side. So it's gonna be up like this, up in this area, but it's hitting all this bracketry that was previously designed for the C5 steering. So we're gonna have to cut all this out, but I believe this is gonna be the best fit of it right in here. So let's go ahead, put the cover on here, make sure that it's gonna fit underneath it, and if it tucks, that's the way we're gonna go. Here is what we have. So we have this guy, and this is the hole right here. All right, here is what we have right now. This is the hole for the steering column. So we're gonna have this up about yay high. And it's going to be centered right there. So we're going to build a bracket to hold it up in place temporarily. Then we have to take and make a mounting plate to drop it down and hold it in place. So let's go ahead and make some temporary supports, probably 2x4 or something. We'll hold it right here and then keep going from there. All right, one more thing we're gonna do with this box before we take and start making mounting brackets and stuff. We have this control box up here, but there is no set reason why it needs to be up here other than that's the way they put it. We might even be able to use this upper bracket as additional support for mounting. So we'll take the box off, 2 Allen heads right here and right here, and we can remote mount this deeper under the console. Once we have it apart, looks like we're using the housing as a thermal dissipation method, and we're using some thermal transfer paste, so we'll have to put a heat sink on this probably, but that's not that big of a deal. Now, for these wires, just gotta pop the retainer off, and behold, all the wires should just slide off in the connectors. We'll just need to extend these, or if we unfold it and keep it relatively close, it should be fine. So let's get this retainer out and then disconnect this. All right, so we got this separated. We got it identified, white, blue, blue, white. That way we're not confused on the orientation. And then I took these two and marked them black. Same with the black line, same with the connector. And then same thing on the housing here. These two are marked black. And then got a yellow sleeve on this one too. Now we don't need all this weight on here to get it in place and mount it up. So we can actually remove this entire motor down here. It's just 2 bolts on the back side right here, and they're already loose. And once we got this off, we can manage this a whole lot easier to get it mounted in place. Come on, get it, almost there. And so both bolts are out, and then this just twists out. It's a spline shaft on the inside, spline shaft on the outside. And this is a whole lot lighter now. So now this guy, like I said, it's gonna go right here, center of a shaft, and we need a mounting bracket.
around both of these. So we got to CAD these up, send them out to get cut, and then when we get them back in, we'll be able to install this. Just like Miss Schmees. Yep. Cool. All right, let's get these measured up, CAD'd up, and then send it out.
One week later.
Parts came in. Let's go ahead, open them up. Make sure they are the way I ordered them. More importantly, that I didn't mess them up in the design process. That would suck. What we have here is, these are the back braces for the battery frame. This is the mount for the ring on the steering shaft, steering column. This is the top portion, so where this went, this is gonna be a brace across here. And then these are our plugs for our steering rack. So let's go ahead and make sure this guy fits on that steering column. It's size? It's too precise. Alright, so we'll need a... Oh, okay. So there's a little notch in there from the start of the laser. So I need to take that off, but we'll also need to take and round one of the sides because it's rounded along the edge right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick, and then we'll see.
4 moments later.
Alright, went ahead, ground down that burr. So now, slides right on over. And all our fastener holes are perfectly placed where they need to be. We're on the right track. So then on this side, we need to make sure that this plate fits. So this guy right here. Okay, and fastener holes are ever so slightly off. So I did some bad math. Actually, if we bring it a little bit away from the edge, it lines up just right. And okay. So let's take round this edge right here, and then we can take and boom, get it on there. I think it's this way. Let's make sure. Yeah, it's gonna be this way. Okay, that's gonna be good. So now we have this 1x2 bar. We're gonna put it right across here. right, so we have this tacked in place on both ends, so we know that's good. A little bit of a wiggle, that's okay. It's not secured down all the way. And then we can see that right here, we can actually cut it right back here and still have our mounting points up front. So, next thing, let's make sure the dash plate still fits. All right. Good clearance even up here on the front side. It's good. Reverse threaded. Okay, that makes sense now. Okay, so we gotta cut it here, 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 and here. Now that we have this cut down, we can go ahead and put it on here. Okay, so it's gonna go like this. Like I said, it's gonna have 2 of those brackets from either side, just some angle iron. And then we'll do some tabs, that way it screws together. All right, so we got nut certs in here. So now this will just come straight up right here and make it where this piece is independently removable from the front piece. So we can go ahead, get this guy finished up and paint it. Steering column is in. Now we just gotta mate the steering rack to the steering wheel column. So we gotta make a new shaft. So I gotta order some more parts and then we'll pick this back up. All right, I'm gonna do one last thing and then we're gonna call it quits. So I'm gonna take the motor off and then we are gonna put new connectors on here. So a 4-pin connector, get a 4-pin on here with the wire, and that way we can place this up over here.
let's go ahead and do a little bracket right here, tying it to the frame up here, that way it's mounted up. And we are done with it.
2 weeks later.
Just kidding, guys. So I ordered all the parts we need to finish out the steering shaft. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on it. I'm still waiting on one part. Unfortunately, that one's still being fabricated, but we'll go ahead and get most of it done. And then once that one comes in, we can get the rest of it. First thing we have is this end piece. This is the spline count for the Saturn Vue piece. I'll put it up on the screen somewhere over here. And then on the back side is 3/4 of an inch. So when we slide it over, and then we can just snug it in place, and that is retained. So now we can take and put a shaft in here, get it out to over here, and then that way we got a extension, and then we can do a drop. This next segment, we are going to use the one with a spline where it extends out. So this is gonna go basically, oh my goodness, from here to about right here. That looks like it is going to fit. So I have to wait for the last piece to come in, which is the spline for the steering rack itself. And then we should be able to just weld it in place and install this permanently. I don't see any issues right now, so it should be good. So time to wait for that to come in. All right. The final piece to the steering shaft has arrived. It is a 3D printed splined piece with the exact number of splines that fits on the Datsun rack. So we need to get a length of a 3/4 inch that is just right, weld it in. Right there. All right, so that's where it needs to go. It'll slide back off. So clears on all sides. We need to put a piece of 3/4 inch right in there and then connect up the rest of the rod, see where it fits, and adjust as necessary. So it is on here. It is in the midway point. So we'll tack it at both ends, pull it out, do a full weld, and put it back in. Shaft's all painted up. It is all finished. Let's go ahead and install it. And let's go first. All right, we have a drive shaft in. Now it clears good all the way throughout there, and it works. It'll worky. So next, let's take a look at the control box real quick. So we have a control box here. We can just run power to it, but the problem with just running power to it is it will be driving it in like a backup mode, which does maximum amplification. So comfort plus, right? But then you don't feel any of a road in the steering wheel. So we have this module here. And this guy plugs in right here and drives how much to amplify that. Now it drives it based on how much resistance is in this knob right here. So initially I'm gonna take and keep this in line, and this is our power ground and then a resistor feed. And we're gonna measure, this is 100 kilo ohm at the maximum. So we're gonna measure the maximum, make sure that it is that. And then do like a 3/4, 3/8, and then 0, where we can select how much boost we get on the steering column. So that'll be for another time, but these are available on eBay for the Saturn Vue 2 controller. So there's that. With the steering done, my friends, that's gonna be a wrap for this episode. And I'll catch you guys on the next time when we are working on the brake booster. So, see you next time. Thank you for watching.